Hello guys, welcome to Selenium CS tutorial with NUnit Session 9. In today's session, you will learn the key, compound, condition, file and directory constant, whatever can be used in NUnit assertions. So what is NUnit compound constant? So in case you used to give multiple conditions at the same time, right, you can use compound constant. So compound constants are used to combine other constant in various way for NUnit assertions. So you can use right and condition, you can use or condition, or you can use not condition. So let's see how you can use the compound constant in NUnit assertions. So I will declare a variable called integer compound constant, right? And I can give some value called 30. Okay, that is the value I am defined. Now I want to check, right, the multiple condition using and or no. Okay, so what I will do, I'll be using the assert class, and then I'll be using that symbol, and here I'll be giving that variable name. And now to validate that variable, I will be using compound constant. So I will be using helper class called is dot greater than, or you can use greater than or equal to as well. So I will be using greater than, is greater than say 20, right? And I will be using, so you need to give dot and, right? You could see it is coming as and greater than or less than, you can give it, right? Instead of greater than, you can give less than, and you can give any value, say 40. So only in case both the statements are true, then only your assertion will be executed and will be passed. In case any of the statement is failed, so your assertion will be completely failed, because you are using and compound constant, right? So that is the way you can use and. So you are trying to check multiple condition whether that variable is greater than 20 as well as less than 40. So here it will pass. Okay. Now if you try to execute it, it will pass. There will be no error. And definitely you can add optional error message as well. So optional error message will only display in case of failure. So now if you want to give whether less than, greater than 25 but less than 20, sorry, greater than 20 but less than 25, so it will fail. Now you can mention compound constant, that is the additional message you can write, assertion failure. Okay, only it will be displayed in case of failure in the test explorer section. Okay, now if you run, your test case will fail because you have given and, but you want to check, right, that is greater than 20 and less than 25. So that particular condition less than 25 will not be satisfied. So and will work only when both the conditions satisfy, then only your assert statement will pass, otherwise it will fail. Let's try to run the test case and let's see what error is being displayed. And this case definitely should fail here. You could see test case fail, line number 14. That is the message whatever you want to display displayed here, compound constant assumption failure, right? Expected greater than 20 and less than 25, so that is not match. And right, you it's coming, it's and. So that is one kind of compound constant. Now you can use or similar way. So or means in case any statement is passed, then it will fail, right? Sorry, it will pass. So it does not, it is not like that both the statement we need to pass it. So we can use or. Okay, so that is the simple. Now if you change it to 35, so here that first statement will also pass because it is satisfying on one condition, is greater than or less than 25. So it is satisfying that first one, right? is greater than 20. It does not matter the other condition is working or not. For the second one, I have tried to give 20 and less than 35, so it is also matching. So here both the conditions will be matching, both the compounds constant statements will be matching, and right, that particular error message will not be displayed, it will be completely ignored. So now let's try to see. Execute the test case. Here there will be no assumption failure, so that is the reason optional error message will not be displayed here and test case will be passed. You could see there is no optional error message display, test case first. Okay. Similar way you can use not. So that is the another statement. So what I will be doing, taking that one. Instead of that, I can use is dot not, right? Not here. So not dot equal to. So in case I want to check whether it's not equal to 25, right? So it will pass. Now it will also pass. So 3 compound statement will work here, and there will be no assertion failure at all. So you can check whether it's not equal to, or whether you can give both the condition, right, multiple condition using AND operation, and or you can give multiple condition using OR. So in case you are using AND, then in case your all the statement is working only, then only your assertion will pass. But in case you are using OR, in case any of the OR statement is working fine, your statement will be working fine. And not equal to means in case the both the value is not matching, it will give you the assertion pass, otherwise it will assertion will fail. Okay, so that is different, right, area you can cover for the compound constants in NUnit. Then we will go with the NUnit condition constants. So condition constant test a specific condition and are named for the condition they test. They verify that the actual value satisfied the condition or not. Okay, so this is the example I have tried to given. Let's try to declare a array. So int, I can give the array single dimensional array, and I can give the name called array here equal to new int, and I can go with that value. So suppose I want to give value called 5, 10, 15 and 20. So this is the 4 element I want to add in that array, right? And then I can define one more array which is null array without any value inside that. So I can change the second variable label called null array, and here there will be no element at all. So that is the way I can define null array without any element. So you could see there is no error. Now I can check, right, whether the first array is not null. Okay, so what I can do, I can use assert class, then dot that, and here I can use array dot is equal to, sorry, is not null, right? So it will be passed not null because there are so many elements available. Similarly, second array is empty, there is no element available, right? So I can check whether it is empty or not for the null array. So similar way I can go keep the variable name called null array, and then I can check whether it is empty or not, dot empty. So it will be also pass, right? But in the for the first one, if I want to check whether it is empty, it will fail, right? Let's try to check whether the first array is empty or not. So I need to change the variable. So here line number 90, right, your test case will fail because the first array is not null, right, but it is not empty as well. So is empty will fail here. But for the empty second array, null array, which there is no element, so it will be empty, there will be no failure. So test case will fail at the line number 19 because expected was empty, but there was 4 element 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is getting fail. So that is the way. These are the two important um, syntax, right, you can use for condition constant. Then I will check whether the length is greater than or not, right. So what I will do, I will be using true and false, is dot true and is dot false. So I will be taking that array for the first one, then I can get the length, right, length. So I am giving condition called greater than 0. So definitely it will give me the greater than 0 because it is having some length, and it will be storing in some boolean, right. Greater than 0 I want to store in some boolean variable, boolean bool boolean, say array length. So that is the variable I want to store. Now I can check whether my array length is true or false, right. So what I can do, I can use similar way, assert dot, I can change the variable because this will be boolean, right, is true or false. So is dot true, whether my array length is greater than 0. So it is true, so it will be giving me no failure. But in case I want to check the false way, right, it will be failure because array length is greater than 0 means total length is 4, so it will not work for the false. So that is the another two syntax I can use for NUnit condition constants. And its failure, right, I can give some error or message also that need to be printed in the during execution. So say is false assertion failure. So now your step number 23 will be fail because array length is greater than 0, not the less than 0, not false condition. So now if you go and run all, so in the test explorer section, that message whatever you have added for is dot false, that will be also displayed. You could see as is false assertion failure, expected was false but it is coming as true because array length is greater than 0 because it is 4, so it is greater than 0. So that is the reason line number 23 it is being, right, failed, so that assertion is not getting passed. So that is the way, right, you can deal with different NUnit condition constants. So in this session also I'll cover one last constant, which is NUnit file and directory. So primarily for the file, what you can do, you can give the path of the file, right, or sorry, the directory, and you can check whether that particular folder structure is exist or not, right. So does exist or does not exist. Apart from that, you can check whether the folder, right, any file is available or not. So you can check is empty, right. Similarly for the file, you need to give the exact file path in the folder. It can be text file, excel file, right, ppt file, or like doc file as well, okay. And you can check whether the particular file is exist or not exist. So file or folder directory exist, constraint test that a file or directory exists, or any particular directory, any particular file is exist or not, okay. So what I will do, so that is the, right, folder structure, okay. So this is the folder structure I can store in some string variable. So let's go here and let's store in some string variable. So string, say file, sorry, folder path, okay, and I can store that way. That path I can give it, that is my folder path. And now in case I want to give some file path, so similar way I can create one more variable called file path. So what I need to give, in that particular file there is a folder available called test.txt. So I can give / test.txt, right. So that is the two variable I have created. So one is the folder path, and that means only the folder or the directory path, and file path means within that particular folder some file will be there. It can be text, excel, right, document file, or ppt, anything, okay. So you need to give the file name along with the extension. Now for the folder, okay, or the directory, what you can check, you can check whether the directory is exist or not. So I'll be using assert dot that, and you need to use new, and here I will be using new directory info, right? You could see directory info, and here I need to give the folder path because you are checking and exist. So it will pass here. It is exist. That particular folder is exist. And apart from that, there is another methods available dot not exist dot. Okay, or you can, instead of exist, you can give Does.Exist. Does.Exist. Okay, folder path, and I need to give comma here because that is the first expression and this is the second expression. Does.Exist, not the exist. Okay. Similarly, here I can give does not exist. Does dot not exist. Right. So now here it will fail because that folder is already available, right, in that desktop Selenium training folder. Now if you execute your code in the line number 18, it will fail, but line number 7 it will pass because that folder already exists. You could see line number 18, right? Expected not file or directory exist, but here that particular file was there. That is the reason it is getting failed. Similar way for that file, it is the with the folder or directory, right? Similar way you can check with the file as well. So instead of directory info, it will be file info, and here instead of folder path or the directory path, you need to give the exact file path, right, along with the extension text file or notepad or the document file or the excel file or the ppt, any file does exist. So it will also pass that particular folder is exist and does not exist. And similar way you can give some message in case you want to print it as an optional message. So does not exist assertion failure, so that whenever you are running your code, that message will be printed in the test explorer section. Now if you run your code, the last line does not exist will fail because the test folder is already exist. You could see that message is printed does not exist assertion failure also printed in the test explorer section. Expected was not file or folder directory exist, and that is already exist. Now if you want to check, right, whether the test one, right, so it will be definitely that one only fail. You can comment it out, but does not exist will pass because the test one, there is no folder file available in the Selenium training, only test was available, test.txt. So now it will pass. So that is the way you can do the negative testing as well, but actually it is positive, right? It is coming as fast during negative testing. So apart from that last one, you can check whether in the directory info, right, any kind of file exists or not. So that is the last important thing you can check for file or and directory constants using, right. So let's see in the folder path or the directory path, right, is completely empty. So I'll be using is helper class dot empty. So now it will fail because that in that particular folder or the directory path, right, that particular test.txt file is available. So it will fail. If you run your code, it will fail because it is not empty, right? An empty directory means empty folder, but here that particular thing, right, one folder is file is available. Okay, so line number 23 is getting fail here now. 23 line number. Now if you remove that folder, sorry, file from the folder, right, and if you just try to run it after saving the code, you could see your test case will be passed because right now that particular folder is completely empty. There is no file available. You could see there is no like a failure. It is passed completely. So that is the way you can deal with these three type of constraint. You can use compound constants where you can use not, and, or. Not means in case the value is not matched, it will be passed, assertion will be passed, and or in case anything is getting matched, it will be passed. And means both the things, whatever condition you are giving, all the condition at the same time should be matched only, then your and compound constant will be passed in the NUnit assertion. And for the NUnit condition constants, right, you can check whether it's not, null, empty, right, you can get the length specific to array, and you can check is true and is false. Similarly, for the file and directory constants, you can get the file path and the folder path, and for the folder you can or the directory, you can check whether the directory is or the folder is available or not available with the help of exist or does not exist. Similarly, for the file path also you can check with the help of the file info, does exist or not exist, and in the folder you can check in the particular folder or the directory any kind of folder is available or not, right, with the help of is empty. It folder file means can be text file, right, it can be word document, it can be excel file, it can be ppt, any kind of file. Okay, so that's all from today's session. Thank you.